Hey everyone, Niall Doherty here from $50blogs.net, and today I'm going to show you the process I use for launching a new WordPress site. So usually when I'm working with a client for my web design business, I like to build out their new site somewhere online so they can see the progress and provide feedback. Now let's assume they already have a basic site set up and the new one that I'm building will replace that. So here's an example I set up at demo.50blogs.net. So it's just a very simple HTML page, which in this screencast will represent the old website we want to eventually replace. And yeah, I know it looks pretty plain and basic and kind of ugly, but it's my fake website and I can do what I want with it. So we want this old website to remain live while the new one is being built. So I usually create the new site in WordPress in a subdirectory. So this one's at demo.50blogs.net. The new site, we'd have it at something like demo.50blogs.net/new, as is the case here. And as you can see, I have a WordPress site set up in there. And it's obviously not a finished site, but let's just pretend that it is and that we want to launch it, replacing that other bare bones page we saw a moment ago. So here's how we would do that. First of all, we need to have FTP access to the server. And you'll see here that I'm already connected using FileZilla. That's the software I'm using. Now, we're really only interested in the remote side of the screen here. So we're not actually going to be doing any uploading or downloading of anything, although if you want to be extra safe, it doesn't hurt to have a local copy of the files. And we're not actually going to change anything in here just yet. All I want to show you is the directory structure. You see we have the index.html, which is the old bare bones page I showed you a moment ago. And then we have the new directory right here, in which we find the WordPress files that make up our new site that we want to make live. So you can see all of them there. Okay, so let's come back to that in a minute. The first thing we have to do to make our site live, our new site live, is to log in at WordPress over at demo.50blogs.net/new/wp-login.php. I have my username and password in there. Let's log in. And once there, we're going to navigate to settings and then general over here on the side. Okay, so in here, we need to change two things. We need to change the WordPress address and the site address. They both need to be changed to the address of the new site, which will be just demo.50blogs.net. Whoops. Let me make sure I have that right. Demo.50blogs.net, demo.50blogs.net. Perfect. Now, note that when we click Save Changes here, we're going to get an error message. Just like that. And that's perfectly normal. We've basically told WordPress that our site has been moved to a different directory, but we haven't actually moved the files yet. So let's go back to FileZilla and we'll do that next. Okay. Now the first thing here is to actually move the files belonging to the old site. We need to do that first. I have only one file here, the index.html, but if it's a legitimate full site that you're replacing, you may have lots and lots of files. And you'll want to get them all out of the way. So to achieve this, I like to create another directory, and I will usually just call that old. And then I highlight all the files from the old site and drag them in there. In this case, just one file. Just going to drag it into the old directory. And it doesn't take long for the files to move, even if you're working with a full website. Okay, so now that our old site files are safely tucked away in there and can be brought back if anything does go wrong, we next need to move the new WordPress files. To do that, we simply click into the new directory and we highlight everything in there. Let's make sure we have everything. Yes, we do. And then we just click and drag it one level higher. So I'm going to click, drag it in here. And now it's moving all the files first. And again, it doesn't take long for all those files to move. So we're just going to give that a minute. Okay, good. All the files have just been moved. Let's go back up one directory to the root. And we will see everything is in there now, all our WordPress files. So once that's done, we can go back to the browser and try load the WordPress site at the new location, which would be demo.50blogs.net. So let's do that. Okay, we're going to need to do a hard refresh. Whoops. Need to hold down Shift and then refresh. And there we go. It looks good. But we're not quite done yet. We need to make sure we can access the dashboard by going to /wp-admin, like that. It's going to ask username, password. Okay, good. We can get in there. So it looks like we're up and running. There are several other things you should check after doing such a move. But please check the blog post that accompanies this video for more info on that, because I don't want to go into too much depth and take up too much of your time. But mostly it involves checking links and image paths and such, and updating your permalinks as well. But check the blog post for more info on that to make sure you have everything covered and you don't get caught out with any sneaky surprises. Alright, so that's it for this screencast. Let me know if you have any questions. And once again, my name is Niall Doherty for $50 Blogs. You can check back next week for another helpful WordPress related tutorial / screencast dealio. And you can subscribe in the sidebar here at $50blogs.net/blog. And you'll get a heads up on any special offers related to my $50 blog service. Plus you get advance notice of live support sessions where you can get all your blogging related problems solved and questions answered absolutely free.